You can always figure out a way to send it to Jack.
No, he doesn't. Just hit record on Zoom. This is nuts.
Oh, I just hit. Okay, so
You
stop
got
it.
it. You got it. You got it. Don't stop it. It says recording.
Okay, it's recording to my computer.
Okay.
There we go. Good luck, Darcy.
So this is how it is before you see that finely tuned finished product.
Now I actually think you did put some polish on it before putting it on the internet. That's amazing.
This shirt has adequately been polished.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Jack.
Hey, look, I'm trying to make a graphic intro. I actually made one with like lightning and thunder, and it didn't show up. So I don't know.
That's okay. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'll figure it out. Unfortunately,
This is very new. So,
What tool are you using?
I'm using something called Wondershare, some crap.
Okay.
Yeah, Filmora X. All right, Zeus, you want to do introductions, buddy?
all right. So, basically, everybody that's watched it knows me, Zeus. You want to do it, Jack? If you're gonna nod your head like this.
No, I thought you were moving on to John.
No, not Spider. Yeah. No, Spider. I thought you said.
No, okay. Keep going. You're Zeus.
Right. So Darcy is the gentleman that's got my name under him. Jack is the guy that's just yelling at me. Mike is the one that's acting a fool. And John's the new face up on my right. Looks like he's in his office. John's an author, as well as a nurse, as well as a bachelor's in psychiatry or psychology?
Bachelor's in psychology, master's in engineering psychology, and
Wow.
Six Sigma design and management. Yeah, I came to nursing late, actually. It was kind of funny. I ended up getting pretty broken in the Army and spent a lot of time in the hospital, and decided at that point I kind of had a good idea of what a nurse did, and I couldn't stay in one place long enough anymore. My wife's still in the Army.
Wow.
And the nice thing about nursing is that it's portable. You can use it wherever.
So was this PTSD or what happened?
No, I actually broke my back in 3 different places. Broke 4 ribs and dislocated a shoulder.
IED?
No, actually I did a head first dive down a flight of stairs.
I've done that.
Yeah, that was great.
No.
But,
Is that with a cardboard box? Cardboard. Is that on cardboard?
Yeah. Like Greystoke. Yeah, I actually took the silver platter for a spin. No, I was an individual.
Nice reference.
Thanks.
Really nice reference.
Greystoke.
Christopher Lambert. There can be only one.
Right. Before his career took a horrible turn. Just saying.
I know you're not knocking Highlander.
No. That was before.
Not the original.
Was it before? I thought Highlander was after Greystoke.
Was it?
Greystoke was like what, 84 or something?
Wait a minute. We're derailing John.
John's derailing John. So yeah, bing bada boom, literally. Yeah, it was great. I had this whole scene where I regained consciousness and did the whole toe wiggle thing from Kill Bill.
Oh wow.
Did they also have the Vaseline with the hair sticking out of it?
Thank God it wasn't that necessary. It wasn't that big a deal. I was by myself, trying to get to where everybody else was, and was worse for wear when I got there. But we finished the job, and I got back to the base, got an X-ray because I wasn't feeling real hot, and they said, "Well, the bad news is you broke, these different vertebra, and you've got all this other crap that's broken. But the good news is it's already started to heal."
Wow.
Of course, it also means that the nerves are all tied up in the regrowth process. So
chiropractor.
Yeah, right. They wouldn't touch me after I screamed the first visit. So
oh
yeah.
Well, so
parts like Wolverine now.
Yeah, me too. So hey, John. So you went to nursing school once you got out of the service, or?
Yeah, pretty much. We were stationed over in Germany, so it took a while to get back. And then I went after I learned to walk again. We went back to school.
Okay, cool. Good for you, man.
And I actually used to race with my walker. He would steal it, and then my job would be to catch him.
Nice therapy right there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you can't get better PT than that. It's great.
No.
Hey John, how long ago was this?
That was 9 years ago.
I'm sorry?
About 9 years ago.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
So, for those that don't know, John wrote a book recently. Can you give me the title again? It's like
You bet it. It's Giresun Island.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually named after a different island that they just discovered archaeological evidence of the tribe that was known as the Amazons in, I believe it was Plato, in his history of the world back, in ancient history. And they've got actual, pottery shards and a dead horse and an altar and all this jazz on this little island that it was kind of like a gathering place. They would get their ships there, meet up so everyone was coordinated, so that they all showed up at the landing site at the same time. It was pretty slick for ancient world.
Wow.
But yeah, and I was reading about these women who would basically they had this weird wine that was made out of cow's milk. I actually ran across a recipe for something similar in the bootlegger's Bible from an Alaskan bootlegger. But who knew you could ferment milk? But anyhow, these guys did it, smoked a lot of pot, got tattooed up, and then went and raided like Vikings. But this was about 1500 BC or earlier.
Wow.
Yeah, they were kicking ass and expert horse riders, archers, and so forth.
Now this was where? Where was the island?
This was on the Mediterranean.
Oh, okay, so it was Europe or Africa.
Yeah. Well, they came from Southwest Asia and then attacked into what was then Greece and the steppes and everything else in between.
Okay, cool. Wow.
So that kind of gave me a foothold and some inspiration. Did a lot of research beyond that, and I know you guys are huge fans of the second Wonder Woman movie.
No.
But I wanted to write something that was hopefully better than that, and a little bit more about the island culture,
Well, you set the bar low.
Right. Well, if you set it low enough, it's easy to get over.
Yeah.
But
True.
I actually, my family and I were restationed here in Oahu, Hawaii over the summer.
Oh.
And so, I had to get some tropical inspiration, I guess, right?
Wow. Well, my heart bleeds for you, John.
Yeah, it's rough. It's real rough. Yeah.
That's you healed yourself, and now you're in Hawaii. So, and you wrote a book.
Right? Who says there isn't such a thing as karma?
No, well, you must have been a really good person.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I might have been Stalin in my past life, because karma's been kicking me in the ass for about 45 years.
Yeah, I don't know what I was, man. Viet Cong or Pol Pot.
Right.
Papa Doc. All right, so back to the book though.
Yeah.
When did you finish the book? When did you start it? About how long did it take for you to really get to a final draft?
Well, that's the amazing thing. The book was actually part of a writer's workshop that I did. I actually had some extra time on my hands, since I had to quit my job and move to Hawaii.
Yeah, poor you.
I know. It was such a raw deal.
Right.
It makes, anyhow. But Georgetown had this writer's workshop, and I was able to get in on that. They liked the idea, and
Jesus, he didn't even go to a shitty school.
I know.
No. Tallahassee JUCO.
Yeah, exactly. But I actually knocked it out by the end of January.
Oh, good for you, man.
Yeah, so it was middle of August to January.
That's the way to do it, man. Get through it.
Knuckle down.
That's it. Good for you, man. Well, it's nice that your wife and your kids, or assuming you have kids,
Yeah.
they were able to let you go do that.
Yeah, it was great. I'm homeschooling both the kids because, again, we had to leave in the middle of summer during a pandemic, so there wasn't not a lot of energy towards going to public school with the way things are going. This whole online thing. I mean,
Yeah, my
how hard
kids.
it was to set up this, right?
Right.
And so I stayed home to educate the kids, and after school I would start writing, and they were really helpful in that regard. All I always said was go outside and play, and they seemed to be okay with that idea.
Yeah, I would think. Just one quick question before we go on with the book. Did you like Wonder Woman's sequel?
I know, right? Oh my goodness.
Did you really?
No, I mean, here's the thing. I'm a huge fan of Wonder Woman, right? But even that wasn't able to outweigh the editing that I saw. It was disappointing.
It was
I'm
terrible.
a big fan, but I was so disappointed.
No.
Honestly, the first one wasn't even that fantastic. It was
I like the first
contrived.
one. I
like
like.
the
Yeah,
first one.
I like the first one.
Me
it was
too.
okay, but
They got so much of the background right, and
Mm-hmm.
like I said, I've done the deep dive. I've read the biographies, and they got a lot right with it. And it was good to see that character, on the screen the way that she.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, it was, they say it's an important movie. I don't know about that because there've been a lot of female heroes.
Movie. How important is it?
It's a movie. It's a movie. It's the superhero movie. Yeah. I don't know. John, I said they say. I don't say.
I was agreeing with you.
Okay, but hey, listen.
Not often here. Sorry.
No, at some point we got to have you join me and Zeus for the deep dive into the Snyder Cut, but that's a whole different podcast.
Oh man, yeah, I thought you hadn't got to that one yet. That was amazing to me. I don't know how you guys felt about it, but holy crap!
I thought Zeus and I would have done it by now with whoever wants to, but that's been shelved at least till tomorrow. Zeus,
I'm doing this tonight. I don't know that I'll be able to do it. Maybe you guys do.
I'm only kidding.
Tomorrow. I'm out for the next couple of days.
No, I'm only kidding. All right, so Zeus, do you have any more, like, a question about the book, or we know John's background?
No, I say go into it. I was not able to get through too much. I watched your video, and
I did too.
And I looked at the excerpts, but I was not able to read at this point. And so at least my questions as you go along will be more organic, which I'm fine with.
Well, when do we get a copy of the book? That like the full print, or
are you on Audible?
August.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I'm starting off a capital raising campaign this Friday. It'll be with Indiegogo. Being a new author, nobody's heard of me.
Right.
Except for you fine guys. Appreciate you having me on your quality show here.
Well, hey, welcome to the Nut House, man. Good for you.
And so I've got to balance that out by doing some crowdfunding. And that starts up on Friday.
Oh,
and
wow.
The objective is to get all the art departments and editors paid for. And then hit to August is the deadline that the publisher is set. So look to have a hard copy in August. If the campaign goes well, I'll be able to afford getting some studio time, put out that Audible that you guys were talking about.
Okay. So there's no digital copy or self-published effort. Like it's not.
Okay. The reason why I said Audible is because I've got 5 credits. I got to get rid of one, or I'm going to lose that credit.
I've got 2.
I got like 8. I hate those things.
So John, there is a digital copy, or there's not?
There will be. Yeah, there
Oh,
will be.
there will be.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the digital copy and the paperback will be the first, tier, and then
Okay.
hopefully get enough funding to pull out the hardback and then go for Audible after that.
Hey, good luck to you, man.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah,
It
it's
is.
quite an adventure. It's never been on a podcast before, doing a whole lot of new things.
Oh,
So
I'm sorry.
Neither
know.
have we. Neither have we.
I'm really
Again, you're
sorry.
all about setting that bar low, aren't you?
yeah, I want you to succeed, Zeus. That's what's up.
Well, hey, once if we get this out there, feel free to share the podcast as far as you can share it. It's on YouTube also once it goes up. All right, thanks, John. And also, hey, listen, before we go anywhere, thanks for your service.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Jack.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I was in the Army.
Nice.
What the fuck?
I was in the Army and the Navy.
Yeah, I know you.
I held a gun.
Well, that's
Can you get out for a
important
hangnail? Can you get out for a hangnail?
No, for questionable things.
Wait a minute. Go ahead, Zeus. Go ahead.
No, I'm not going into it.
No, I'm just grabbing a water, Zeus or Mike or Darcy. Go ahead. Fire it
So,
off.
well, John, go ahead and give us a synopsis for the story. I was thinking after this, we could maybe, you were saying you had some stuff with Myanmar that you want to talk about?
Oh, yeah.
Or I was thinking, since the topic is your novel, we could go into maybe our favorite novel.
I think that's a great idea.
And I think that'll carry us over an hour. I think that'd be a good idea.
That's outstanding. Yeah, because the business with Myanmar is really, really depressing.
Yeah, let's not. We'll go that route again.
That
We do some heavy stuff, but let's do something light, and we'll talk about your story.
That sounds great. I appreciate it. So my book is about a woman. She's a former Peshmerga fighter, right? So they live in. It's interesting when they divided up Southwest Asia for the different countries we know today. That was the aftermath of World War II, and the Kurds were an ethnic minority. I'm betting everybody knows that name.
Yeah.
And they weren't given any territory at all. And it's because their neighbors hate their guts. It's interesting. In addition to, we were talking earlier, Darcy, about, women's studies and so forth. I also spent a lot of time in the comparative religion section at Arizona State. And the Kurds actually, how in Christianity and particularly Catholicism, you've got saints and intermediaries between you and God that you can pray to and so forth. Well, the Kurds, their intermediary is Lucifer. And that didn't win any friends. Just saying. It's a really beautiful reason, from their point of view, but it didn't translate well.
Was it because he's the morning star or something like that?
Yeah, well, it was because they said that his refusal to bow to men, according to their origin story, was because of his love for God. Mm-hmm. And so he wasn't willing to relinquish his love for God until he was cast out from heaven. So they look at him as this tragic figure, and it's actually a really, really heart-wrenching story. But it also sets them up to be everybody's whipping boy in the Arab world, and I don't see that ever changing. So my story starts off in both South America and in northern Iraq, and the hero. It's funny. I know some of you watched the video. Working with my editor before the one I have now,
right?
He never could pronounce the original character's name right. And we worked together for multiple months, right? Trying to get this together. And at the end, it's the last week and he's still botching the name. So I'm like, well, that's got to get changed. Because if somebody this close to the project can't get it right, it's not going to work for a reader, right? So it's so the name of the person that I mentioned in the video isn't going to be the name of the person in the book. I already love that. That's awesome.
Well,
Yeah.
how do you pronounce the name?
Shakriya.
Shakriya.
We actually had a classmate whose name was that.
Oh, he's laughing.
But Tharsem, which will probably end up getting the little squiggle under the C dropped. It'll be Karsem by the end of this latest bit of editing, I'm sure. The main character's name.
Yeah, that's all right though.
Yeah, you know, change is natural, especially this editing cycle thing.
Oh yeah.
So she loses her family, her village is decimated, and you know, has everybody read Dune? I know you guys are.
A long time ago.
All right, remember when Paul Atreides wanders off into the desert on Arrakis?
Yeah.
He comes back, you know, as a different character.
It's the Joseph Campbell theory of you go off, you go crazy, you come back, supernatural powers.
Right, it's you every weekend.
Yeah.
Exactly. So she goes off and ends up coming back out of the desert a couple years later and just torn down to her core self, right? But looking to move on. She's done feeling bad for herself, and there's a part of her that won't let her die, just you know, out in the desert. So she decides to leave. She's got nothing left. She gets with an uncle of hers in Turkey, gets into a shipping vessel, and ends up in Boston.
Wow.
And that's how we get to North America, do a little bit of sightseeing, and along the way, she ends up being in the wrong place at the right time and foiling an assassination of a leader, happens to be the leader of Giresun Island.
Right,
and,
that's the woman, right? That's the women's, right.
Yeah, so it's not just women, just like with those Amazons that we were talking about before.
Right.
So it's matriarchy, but it's not exclusively women. Just like these folks were. The Amazons had, you know, men fighting with them. They were the same, they, you know, on an equal footing, so to say.
Oh, the men were just there for snoo.
Well, you know, that's how the Greeks wrote it up, but that was because they wanted everybody to hate the Amazons so we could take over North Africa. But that's a whole different Persian story.
A whole different story, right? But now, wait a second. So I know with the beginning, there's a male figure, right, who's like the threat to the matriarchy. Now, is he represented? You mentioned, I think, the Kurds earlier.
Yeah.
So is he kind of like a Che, like a charismatic bad guy? Okay.
Well, he's not a bad guy. You know, for instance, it's like this. You know, I just watched Man of Steel with the kids.
Right.
And you remember how they treated General Zod in the movie?
Yes.
He wasn't evil. He was just pre-programmed to always fight for Krypton, right?
Right.
Okay. So the problem is that he then wanted to recreate Krypton on a populated world.
Right.
This is pretty much the same kind of thing.
Well, Thanos had good intentions also.
Yeah. Thanos wasn't a bad guy.
Right. He was trying to do the right thing.
Oh yeah. We could go through real history of guys that didn't consider themselves bad guys, but it's probably not. I mean, at the very least, this guy. What's the character's name? Carson.
Yeah, that's the woman's name. Yeah.
Oh, that's the woman's name. Well, but the guy is the antagonist, correct?
Correct. Yeah, his name's.
Okay, now the antagonist.
Oh. Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know if you've heard of Malaya or Mayala.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
Little girl.
the little girl from Afghanistan.
Yeah.
She got shot, or
She was.
Yeah, shot in the face.
She got shot in the face, but she supposedly was named after like a very heroic woman in Afghanistan who was like a rebel leader, like had the guns and had the guns. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah,
yeah, she did bring it. So it seems like there's a lot of females or women that have inspired the type of character.
Oh yeah.
That's
Yeah,
your protagonist.
and, well, one would think that how do I put it? That a dominant female figure in Afghanistan, of all places, is really going to stand out, because this is a place that's been run by the Taliban and so many misogynistic, groups. I mean, women beaten in the streets for being in the streets. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Showing too much ankle.
How far?
Like, we're going to hear more about them, I think, because of the fact that they stand out immensely. Like they've got 1,000
naturally highlighted.
We got one.
Well, let me. Mike, do you want to chime in here? Or are you good?
No, I will. I'm good.
Okay.
No, I'm just
All right.
listening. I'm learning.
No, John. How far did you get to that region? Did you only go to Germany, or how far did you get?
I've been. Let's see. I've been to almost every part of Iraq.
Oh wow. Okay. So you know the Kurds.
Yep.
Okay. What was I gonna say? Harping on Zeus's thing or his statement just now. I know from your video that I think you say that you're familiar with women that have gotten out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what were their experiences and how did they get out?
Horrible. A lot of the ones that I've met who got out through international aid organizations.
Right.
Like Amnesty International, things like that.
Yeah, and also private organizations. In fact, some of the interviews that I did for the book, it was interviews on condition that I don't name names or give away too much, that they could be connected to the story.
Right.
Because the things that they've had to endure have been just absolutely horrific. But they fought back, and that made them even more of a target, or the people who got them out were the ones who fought back and then, stuck around, like, a Harriet Tubman kind of affair, where you come back, take the next group out, come back again. And,
balls.
Yeah, serious balls,
Well, that might be sexist, but
well, so I'm actually thinking that I'm starting to realize when you're talking about toxic masculinity, you're talking about the extreme of it. You're talking Taliban.
No,
you're not talking the Me Too stuff going on now. You're talking about serious misogynistic.
Right. Just over the top. Exactly. It's the over the top kind of, how would you say, it's
man better than woman.
Yeah, exactly. And no, I'm not going to give you my seat until you start popping kids out.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Right.
That's trash, and those people deserve to be called out.
I'm wrapping my head around the book a little better now.
Yeah, I'm not talking about
It sounds like
beer. I'm talking about women deserve to be treated like trash because they're second class.
No. Okay. Well, I'm on board with what you're saying, obviously. But yeah, no, unfortunately, the term toxic masculinity nowadays, even according to the the American Psychology Association, they're talking about boys like name calling and liking trucks, and
that's quite where we need to be either.
No, it's not. And it sounds like your story, like Zeus talked about Joseph Campbell.
Mm-hmm.
The hero's journey. It sounds like your story is, basically just a tale. It's a story.
Yeah.
And sometimes a story is just a story, and we can infer out of it whatever we take
Right.
from it.
Exactly.
Like it sounds like your story could be a graphic novel. It could be a miniseries like The Wake, or
Right.
maybe that'll happen.
That would be so rad.
Yeah. Yeah, no shit. That would be That would be great.
And tell everybody they heard it first here.
And
please do.
For what it's worth, yeah, sign of the times, honestly, probably go with toxic masculinity. It seems to be a keyword that's going to get you people listening. To be quite frank, when I saw that term, I started going, oh boy, because I like to think myself in the middle. Like, I like to look at both sides of things, but that term is so
loaded,
aggressive in nature.
Right.
Toxic.
But
it's a toxic
but
term.
but I'm starting to see that marketing wise, shoot, man, milk the shit out of that, because people are going to look at it just based on that, and then hopefully once I get a chance to read it when we get our free copies, I'm hoping that we find that it's not so much man bad, woman good. It's more really bad men are out there.
Yeah, and people are people, right? I mean, you've got this whole psychology of what it means to be human. Mm-hmm. And it's influenced by things like gender and sex, but it's not exclusive to that. You've got different facets that add up to a whole person.
Exactly. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is very much a story, like Jack said. And well, like we were talking earlier, Darcy, P.T. Barnum with his quote about there not being such a thing as bad publicity. If people are talking trash about you, they're still talking about you.
Goddamn right.
So
I wish some people talk trash about us.
Well, maybe we can make that happen.
Yeah, somebody badmouth John. We'll go viral.
I hate you. I hope you break your back and then go to really good schools.
Yeah.
You son of a bitch.
What a curse. Yeah.
Yeah. The Kurds didn't get to you, John.
Right.
How much do the Kurds weigh?
I don't know. You have to ask the spider.
I've been sitting on it for like 40 minutes.
Right. You're just waiting to work that one out, right?
Actually, to go back to that though, the Kurds are the ones that like Saddam Hussein.
Yeah, they're northern Iraq, right?
Yeah, they're
Northern Iraq,
southern Syria.
And it's mainly they're like secular, aren't they?
It's actually Iraq. I had a guy that I worked with, and he was like,
"This is why we wanted."
It's not Iraq. It's Iraq.
Yeah, I'm a crusader. I know.
But don't the Kurds aren't they in multiple countries? I mean, they're not just
And that's what I was saying is, at the end of World War II, and we divided up that region, we didn't give them any room.
Wow.
No. Well,
because nobody wanted us to, so we didn't.
Well, wasn't the story though back in the 1920s that Palestine was formed by a bunch of people that nobody wanted, and they settled up there?
Kind of.
And they were granted their own sovereign nation, basically on Jerusalem. So were the Kurds just kind of left out? Did Iraq exist as a country before World War II, or was that all after? Because we all know
that's a little bit more world history than I recall right now.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
And then we should get back to the story because first of all, I don't want you to give away, the whole thing, obviously.
No.
But I was curious. Kurds, aren't they the ones that work under like the imam kind of system where the smartest person in the village is the imam? So you have all these. It's kind of like having.
Yeah, it's very tribal as far as I've experienced. I mean, obviously, my exposure to their culture was rather limited.
Yeah.
Talking to folks, that seems to be pretty much the way of it. It's very, very much like that.
Interesting.
You see that in the book too, for the brief moment that we get a glimpse into her world before it changes. It's very much like that.
Now,
Yeah.
isn't there a young person as well, like a son or?
Yeah, so we're getting there. So she ends up going to Giresun Island, right? And in the
Right.
meantime, we've got parallel events. While this was happening to Carson, you've now got Armand, who in the excerpt I sent you guys gets buried alive. His family is the head of a consolidated drug empire, pretty much the drug empire at that point
Opium?
in South America, and
Opium?
everything.
Okay.
It's running guns, drugs, people, women, children, drugs. And then of course we, being the U.S., have an airstrike that takes out their entire villa, and that's how he gets both buried alive and later ascends to replace his dad as the head guy of this massive drug empire. And
Yeah.
in order to, seek his revenge, he takes the empire in a different direction. As opposed to bribing everybody, he, takes the hippie lane and works the system from the inside out.
Okay.
So I'm getting that he's got his own Campbellian journey kind of thing.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
And, Jack and I were talking originally about how the best bad guys are the ones you can actually empathize with. If there's something that connects them to being almost human, they're so much worse.
Of course. Some of the best heroes are your anti-heroes. Look at John Barenthal's Punisher. That guy is phenomenal, but he's a bastard.
Oh,
but
yeah.
He's a good guy. He just goes to extreme means.
Precisely.
So
God bless
to
him.
play with that middle ground.
Yeah. Exactly. And so there's a lot of fun to be had as a writer, exploring that and trying to make somebody into something new. There's that metamorphosis that happens on
Right.
the journey.
I think it's good to have the villain go through this kind of thing also, rather than just be like, I found as far as the toxic masculinity theme that you're not doing. It doesn't sound like your book is that sexistly unfair. Like, it's really just about the story. But I watched, did you see Birds of Prey?
Yeah. The one that they had to add an enormous subtitle to so that people would watch it.
Yes, that's the one.
The Emancipation of Harley Quinn or something.
And so forth and something.
Yeah.
Stumped.
Yeah.
It was almost as good as Wonder Woman 1984.
No, it was god awful. It was like, I don't walk out on movies very often, really, ever. And thank God I didn't have to, because I watched it on the computer. But I literally got halfway through a comic book movie, and I love Harley in the comic because I'm a Joker guy.
Gotcha.
Joker doesn't even need an origin. He's just, there is no arc.
It's a nature.
That is his origin, no origin.
Right.
Right.
I thought the grilled cheese was hilarious, though.
The what is?
Did you see the part of the movie where she's talking about the grilled cheese sandwich? Because that actually was hilarious to me.
Now, that being
might
said,
have.
not to go too far off, but I really loved her. She is Harley Quinn. I loved her in Suicide. I liked Suicide Squad. I thought it was a decent movie.
It was okay.
I'm really looking forward to the new one. Did you see the
It
trailer?
looks great. It looks great.
Well, no, Jim Gunn does the new one, so it's going to be great. I have no doubt. Yeah, Guardians.
Right?
Yeah.
He really doesn't do a lot of bad stuff. So anyway,
I like Slither.
My sister's old ex-boyfriend was the director for that.
For
what?
Slither?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the director was Jim Gunn.
Or assistant director.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, a guy named Craig Border.
Third key grip.
Third key. He's a
Best boy assistant.
Best boy assistant. That's
Yeah.
caterer. The caterer
The gaffer.
made the little tea cakes that they
Right.
had at lunch.
Yeah,
He
just
held his notebooks for him.
Hosting city.
He worked at the 7-Eleven next to the studio.
right.
He sold tickets at the theater that the movie showed at.
He's in the
Yeah, but-
business.
Yeah, but Tom Cruise was supposed to be in it, but he yelled at him for not wearing a mask.
Yeah.
And then
What
he
I
sold
heard.
on the couch.
It's what I heard.
Just saying. So keep going with this. Keep going with the story.
You can't. He can't.
I can't get too far into it past that,
Okay.
but I can say this. You know, you've got in the business of making a book, you've got a series of different editors, right? You've got the first one who works with your first draft, the rough draft, and gets you focused, kind of cuts out the excess, says you should really think about this direction instead.
I
Right.
bet you hated him at first.
Oh man, it was rough, man.
It's
Constant heartburn,
conflict. Yeah.
right? Exactly.
Yeah.
And
You made him into a villain by the end of it.
yeah, well, you know, I could say the Armand character has some, you know, features in common. But no,
Right, sucking bastard.
the thing that he kept saying was that the fight scenes reminded him of Christopher Nolan's Batman.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's very, you know, much based on how it feels to be in those fights. It's over before you realize what's happening, and
Okay.
there's not a lot of processing going on.
Well, and that's really how fights are. Fights aren't these 14-minute
No.
fucking
Choreographed.
Bam, thank you, ma'am. I'm not dead yet.
Dude,
No,
I'm
it's,
punching the nose, I'm going down.
Right?
No, it's Brad Pitt against Bruce Lee and
Oh,
Time in Hollywood.
Oh my God. Come on. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
yes.
Yes.
Great. I loved it. The
I
dent
loved it
they
too.
put in that car was hilarious.
I kind
Oh
of,
yeah.
Bigger than the character playing Bruce Lee. It was awesome.
Oh, it was
I
fantastic.
love Bruce Lee, but I did like them making him a pompous ass. And
Oh yeah.
it
No,
was-
I mean, I love Bruce Lee too.
I kind of hated it for a minute, and then I loved it.
Yeah. You know,
I like how
like-
Tarantino says, history.
Yeah, that's Tarantino
Bullshit.
in anything he
Sharon
touches.
Tate
I'll
lives.
do it my way. Forget about it. Yeah.
Well, it's supposedly it's based on that scene's based on a true story. So is Cliff Booth, but
Oh, I didn't know that.
Nice.
yeah.
I like the dog.
I like Brandy. Brandy.
Yeah, that was one of the best uses of a dog I've seen in a movie. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
it.
what's that movie again? What's that movie again?
Once
Once
upon
Once upon a time in Hollywood.
Okay, well, I'm gonna watch that tonight, right after
I
this.
It's
highly recommend it.
fantastic.
Oh,
Beautiful.
That we went and saw that, right, Mike?
I'm surprised I haven't seen that. That's crazy.
Oh, it's so good.
Watch,
Just a-
I'll throw it on about 10 minutes into it. I'll be like, oh, I know that scene.
I love how he always has a scene like Demi Moore when she gets her eye taken out, and in that one, like where it's
Daryl
usually
Hammond.
for some reason-
It
Huh?
pushes the
Daryl
button.
Hammond.
Not the SNL guy.
No. What's her name? The chick from
With the blonde
Yeah.
hair, that was the fish lady.
Yeah, Splash.
Yeah,
Daryl.
Daryl
Daryl
Hammond.
Hannah.
Didn't I say that?
Bill Hammond.
No, you said
Daryl.
Demi Moore.
You said Demi
Oh.
Moore.
Okay, fair enough.
She lost her hair, not her.
But- I like
G.I.
how
Jane.
Tarantino always has, and it's usually the female characters where they get
Happened to me.
something horrific happens to them. They're always just running around like crazy people in
Yes.
the middle of the room. He does it
Like
in
the
just
end of
about
that movie.
everything.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of Blair Witch, where Jack
I
go?
know, right?
So,
Michael.
John.
Yes, sir.
John, just quick question with editors, and I've wondered this. Do you feel that it's a collaborative effort or like a confrontational
I'm right here.
relationship with an editor?
My computer went off for some reason.
I can tell you, I have worked in newspapers, magazines, and now books. And the good ones, it's collaborative by far.
Gotcha.
You get either somebody who doesn't want to be there or somebody who's brand new, and it can be a little aggressive. And you know, you've got to measure out each other, and then hopefully find middle ground.
And trust, I guess, right? So if someone's telling you, hey, you need to excise this, like there
Be
needs to
back
be
in one
some
sec, guys.
trust there.
Yeah, and well, if I'm going to do that, why?
And going on like with the Joseph Conrad reference, is this character, would you say it's like that she goes through a transformative situation, or is it an enhancement of things that are already in her character? Like, is it
right?
Just curious.
No, it is. It's more about having that solid core of self, like you get in like a union analysis. Here, you see the wall behind me?
Yes.
Yeah, that's all the plot work for this one story.
Wow.
And it's all about that journey for each character. But I decided early on that, based on experience, the core of a person doesn't really change.
That's what yeah.
It does. It's because there's some kind of psychotic break. That's exactly what that is.
Yeah.
And at that point, your mind is mush. But if you don't go that route, you could just solidify everything until it turns into, and then you can rebuild on top of that. And you may not be the same person afterwards, but that core personality is still there.
So it's almost like an enhancement of certain qualities that are already there, as opposed to the introduction of completely brand new personality traits.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's that psychosis.
Yeah. I just,
and think about like Superman Red Sun. Have you read that graphic novel?
I have not.
Yeah.
Okay. That
Where
one
it ends in Russia instead of
Kansas, he lands in the Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
So Superman becomes the champion for the USSR.
I gotta read that. What is it called? Red Sun? I haven't even heard of it.
Yeah, no, that one's great. I also really loved God, what was that? I was just talking the other day.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Hold on. Kingdom Come. It's Justice League, but it's primarily Superman. And
it's like, isn't that what's like? I'm sorry, I don't even know. That's Kingdom Come. That's what's like the old Justice League, where Flash has the helmet with the deal with the Green Lantern. It's the old Green Lantern where he's actually carrying a lantern everywhere. Yeah,
exactly. Okay. Yep, they're in there. It's the whole multiverse of heroes, but the core, component of the story is Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, and they are all getting old. So Superman's got gray hair. Batman is basically walking around in a prosthetic suit.
Cool.
Yeah, highly recommend.
What is this called again?
That one
Kingdom
is
Come.
Kingdom Come.
The one I'm liking is the Gods Among Us stuff. That's where Justice League is going.
For sure.
And I really want another outpouring of support for Zack Snyder to come back, because I like the movie.
Oh man.
And,
I
and
love
if it goes that way, man, it could be Superman going dark, or not dark, but
vengeful,
damaged.
Yeah.
Psychologically.
Yeah.
Like basically his version of PTSD. That Joker scene at the end of the movie is phenomenal.
Well, and I was going to say, when I saw Batman's costume in the epilogue, I immediately thought Red Sun. Because if you look at the way it's drawn, it looks very much like that. And I got all excited. I'm like, well, no, they're taking stuff from it, but that's not where they're going. So
the Gods Among Us is a strong storyline. I really like it.
Oh yeah. No, absolutely. And it takes the whole DCU in a different direction, and I love that.
Yeah.
I got a question, and this is almost for Zeus too. I meant to, because we were talking about something weeks ago, and I meant to ask this, but John, you may have some, and Darcy may have some input on this too. So speaking of someone that, I like comic books, I like comic book movies, but I'm definitely the least into comic book movies of everyone on here, I think, except I'm not sure about you, Darcy, but I think you're pretty into them a lot. But do you think that they're, looking in from the outside, I almost feel like the storytelling gets hampered because the movies have to be these enormous, huge blockbusters. Almost like, where's the low budget, independent, superhero movie story?
Mystery Men.
Which one?
Mystery Men.
Oh yeah, okay, I remember that. Yeah.
Wait.
They busted my balls about The Crow, and I think that's almost a perfect movie.
No, I like the.
I saw that. I was yelling at the screen.
What
The
about,
Endgame could have been low budget.
Which
Remember, there
one?
was a time when the Endgame,
Oh.
Thanos was arrested by New York police officers in the comics. He's got his
Something-
hands behind his back, and they're putting him in the police car.
Honestly-
I feel like some of these stories get hampered
Low.
in that they have to be like
Weird.
enormous blockbuster, gigantic movies, as opposed to
Yeah, you're
stories
good. You're good. Yeah.
are
But,
deserve
let
more
me-
attention.
Let me answer that. Tell me if you guys disagree. I think they just happen to be really good. I think they were blockbusters because they were really well done.
I totally agree.
And if you watch WandaVision and Winter Soldier is starting out to be really good.
Yeah.
I think they're just writing really good stuff right now.
And also
honestly,
these movies, when you're comparing what the cost were like 10 years ago, it's nothing, because the CGI is easy. A lot of this stuff I can't do it, but someone could do this stuff on what I have here at home. It's amazing.
Let me say this. You watch just Infinity War and Endgame, if you have mild comic book knowledge, they do a lot of good. They stick to good origins that most of us know. But then you look at Avatar, the one that it's been compared to, and I'm sorry, Avatar was great when it was Dances with Wolves, but
Right.
I didn't really like the movie. I mean, it was Dances with Wolves, but with blue people.
Yep.
It's literally the same movie. And I couldn't stomach that.
I totally agree.
But then you look at just Infinity War and Endgame, and man, those are just, everything about them is so exciting.
So really, I can just tell someone I saw Dancing with Wolves, because I've never seen it, and I don't have any plans on seeing it.
Did you see Avatar?
Yeah. So I can just say
movie.
I saw it. Oh, great.
Replace the blue people with Native Americans, and you
Similar
got
themes. Yeah.
All right.
Similar.
So Michael, I've got one
guy,
other.
Guy leaves.
Go ahead.
His people
Go ahead, John.
To
Go ahead.
join other people to fight his people.
Zeus.
Done.
Michael, I've got one more classic, low budget but good quality, and you guys can fight me on this if you need to. But Dolph Lundgren's Punisher.
Oh
Wow.
We may have to fight you on this one.
No.
Because
Is that
This episode's
Travolta?
never going out, Jack.
no, read the 70s. Read the 70s.
Didn't I see that when I was like
Oh,
3
wait a
or
minute.
something?
Wait a minute. You don't mean the Travolta one, do you?
No, the
No,
one.
that was with.
Dolph Lundgren.
The Dolph Lundgren. It was like what, 92 or something like that.
Yeah, but who was the bad
I
guy?
actually showed that. Yeah.
I don't know.
I
Wasn't
don't
Jigsaw.
think anybody was in there that was any named actor besides Dolph.
Okay, well, I know that didn't he have a homeless guy that was like his Alfred?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it.
But like I look at
like
like something like Kick-Ass. I was like, that
Oh
was
yeah.
I love that.
that's
I love
kind of
that.
like what I'm talking
That
about.
was a
like,
sleeper. I was like,
yeah, it was
Yeah,
a
Mike.
superhero movie. It was
Mike,
a little bit deconstructive, but it wasn't this big, huge, CinemaScope event movie that
No,
everything was like pumped up for.
I
there's another one.
I loved Kick-Ass. It was low budget. You stole it from my tongue, but dude, you also get Nick Cage.
Right. Finally gets to play Batman.
Yes, he does.
Wasn't he in the
He
second
does.
one? He was in the second one though, not the first one, right?
No, he
No,
was
he
in
dies in the first one, so no, he's not in the second one.
He's
Oh,
not in the
not in the
second
second
one.
one. Also, wait, low budget.
Jim Carrey is in the second one.
Who?
Oh, really?
Jim Carrey.
I didn't even know that. I never saw the second one.
He is the mentor. You'd not recognize him if you didn't know.
Oh, wow. I got to watch it. I'm watching it tonight.
The guy who like has the dog that bites everybody in the balls.
Oh, I never saw
He's
it.
got him by the balls.
No, I never saw it. I never saw it too.
Okay.
I'll watch it tonight.
There you
But,
go.
There's one.
but low
Oh, go ahead.
budget. Low budget. What about Joker?
Oh, Joker was amazing.
Yes. Not a comic book movie though.
Yeah, you know, I
Yeah,
haven't watched
actually-
that thing all the way through. I think I've watched like the first maybe
Oh.
40 minutes or so.
It's like a
That's about it.
character study. It's not so much a comic book movie.
No,
I
it's
thought it was
not.
spectacular.
It's not a comic book movie. It's like it's Scorsese. It's Taxi Driver meets King of Comedy. That's
No, I agree with you on that.
that's the movie.
Great two movies to tie it to. That was
Yeah.
absolutely
Oh,
right.
Also,
Another
Joaquin.
one, did you
Yeah.
see one? It's with Dwight Schrute from
The Office.
The
Yeah.
Office. He did this superhero movie where he's just basically an asshole with a suit.
I saw that.
And
I saw that.
can't remember the name of it, but it was actually really good. And he just it's what would happen if we put on a suit. He just gets his ass beat through the whole movie.
I just
funny.
thought is High Noon a comic book movie?
It
I mean,
might be.
Gary Cooper goes through a transformative thing, becomes a hero, like he's a regular dude.
No, it's Joseph Campbell. Hero's Journey again and again
And
and
again.
again.
Hey, it's a good formula.
Yeah,
It's-
at
no,
least I was able to skip the savior version of that. You know, I love Star Wars, but the whole chosen one mythos has got
Oh.
it's past its prime.
Oh, how about his mother had him without ever having the fun?
No, it's
So
all
John, I have
Awful.
another question for you, just from
Okay,
like
Michael.
the creative process, like
Yeah.
writing a book, and I mean, very brave thing to do. I think, you know, you put yourself out there doing this. Was this first story? Because I'm sure you'll write some more. Was this a story that that kind of been in your head, and you're like, okay, I need to get this out, or did you come at it more from, I want to write, I need to find a story that's worthy of that? Like how did you get there?
Great question. I really appreciate it. The whole process actually started my first attempt to write a book. I was 24, and it was like some ungodly number of pages long. It's like, you know, War and Peace. And I thought it was awesome. And people I shared it with said, yeah, this is awesome. And then I tried to get it published, and nobody would touch it, right? So it sat on a shelf. And then I got stuck in a winter training exercise that my unit wasn't invited to. And we had a long 12-man barracks room. And in order not to go crazy, I decided, you know what? I need to write a sequel. So I did. In 1 week, I cranked out 100,000 words.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was nuts. And again, you know, all the guys said, yeah, this is great. I really love this, and that. And in fact, one of them lived near Tor Books, their headquarters. And if you don't know Tor, they're like, you know, big
I'm
time,
familiar.
right, publisher for science fiction. And he actually walked it in and tried to make an appointment to get it sold. And great friend. But they said, nope, never heard of this guy. He's got no presence anywhere. We're not interested. So when it came time for this project, the class is actually kind of what drew me in. It landed in my lap, and I jumped in. They took me off the list, and I'm like, well, you know what? I've got a huge amount of backstory material with these two previously unpublished manuscripts. You know, let's go Frank Herbert on this. Pull from, you know, all this background material and try to write something that's halfway decent.
It's interesting. That's very Orson Scott Cardish.
Right.
Ender's Game. Everybody knows Ender's Game
Yep.
No.
except for
Yeah.
Jack. Yeah. Okay, so Ender's Game was actually a short story, and then he wrote the book Speaker for the Dead, which is an amazing book,
Phenomenal.
but not as good as Ender's Game. He came back and wrote Ender's Game about his character from Speaker for the Dead, and Ender's Game just blew up. And if you have read it, it's one of the greatest
Oh, it
books
definitely
ever
is.
written.
It is a fantastic example of science fiction.
I put it up there with Asimov, Philip K. Dick, any of those guys. It's a
Yeah.
really well-written book. I mean, it's 1984-esque in certain ways. Like, he's talking about iPads, he's talking about Muslim Christian conflict. His brother's a serial killer, sort of, maybe.
Sounds
Maybe
like
just,
a lot.
it's
It is
amazing.
a
No,
lot.
it's
It's
a
really
really,
well
well
done.
done book.
So wait a minute. Did you ever try to market short stories at all, or as far
Yeah.
as? Oh,
Yeah,
you
in
did.
fact, the newspaper at the school that Zeus and I went to picked up and serialized a bunch of short stories that I wrote for the paper. And just as we were getting ready to graduate, we were able to gather them all up into a collected edition.
Are they going to publish that as well, or no?
Oh, it's already on Amazon if you want to check it out. It's
I do.
called Adventures in the Fantastic. Here, I'll grab a copy.
There you go. Let's see it.
Ta-da!
I like the
Wow.
cover.
In fact, today is the I believe the anniversary of when it came out on Amazon. So great timing.
Wait,
Cool.
so who published that book? The school?
No, I did.
Oh, you did. Okay. All right. Well, I'll check. I'm gonna order it.
Oh, sweet. Thanks, man.
You got it.
Yeah. How much is it?
Mom?
How much is it?
How
Oh,
much
it's
is it?
$11.99 on
Okay,
Amazon.
I'll borrow Jack's copy.
Yeah, exactly. Or you can get the ebook version for half price.
I can't read online. I read your 7 pages. That was I can't. At some point, it gets all blue.
Yeah. I want a book.
Yep. Yeah. For
I'd
me,
rather
the
have a book.
phone starts shaking.
Yeah, I just
What are you
can't.
doing, Darcy?
I'm looking up like
Taxes.
everything you guys
He's
are talking
writing.
about.
Darcy's writing a book.
I've inspired Darcy.
He's
There you
he's
go.
starting it right now.
So you guys like cars? Anybody a mechanic?
Actually,
I
Mike wanted to do an episode on our favorite cars, or talk about our favorite cars.
yeah, just talk about favorite cars that we've
Nice.
had
First car.
So
or
I-
first car.
I pulled a Road Warrior, and I've got a 442 in the book, but it's been retrofitted as an electronic vehicle. Like, guys, no, check
Fucking
it out.
tree hugger.
Now, 150 years from now, how much oil do you think we're going to have?
Enough. If
A lot.
trees were meant to live, they'd have thumbs.
Maybe not for a 500 horsepower muscle car.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Well, that's why I love the
Electromagnetism will always beat that anyway.
Exactly. Thank you for the backup. So a lot of the technology that's in the book is actually kind of like extrapolated from what we have already today in labs.
Okay.
I was just reading a textbook, and they were talking about this great integrated M-Health technology, and all of the citations were from 2012. And I almost threw the textbook across the room because I wrote a thesis paper in 2008 and a grant proposal for the same stinking thing.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah. I'm like Tony Stark without the money. I got
Sucks.
ideas, and I got papers, and I got proofs, but I got no cash.
So here's what I want you to do. I want money for this if you sell because of this.
Right.
In your book, you need to refer back to President Musk and Vice President Gates. Bill Gates.
Yeah.
Because that's where the electric. Yeah, okay, you got it.
Hey, John, you ever try your hand at the horror genre?
Yeah, actually, the last story in the book that you're going to buy is my first shot at it.
Okay,
And,
cool.
Yeah, I told my
That's
mom
my-
to read that
That's
one.
my thing. Yeah, that's
Sweet.
my thing. I'm like, what's that?
I was going to say, which reminds me, I wanted to chime in on the conversation from like 2 episodes ago about favorite horror movie. And the one that I love, I know everybody was all on the Michael Myers, Halloween, and
No.
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 for me, it was Hellraiser.
Hellraiser's
Oh,
great,
I
man.
love that stuff.
That's
Yeah.
my favorite horror movie of all time.
You know the
No, it's in my top. It's definitely in my top 50, but I got The Shining. I know it's
Yeah,
old
yeah,
hat.
Shining.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
You know, one that I thought of afterwards, which actually, when the first time I saw it, like scared me, because it's you watch a horror movie and sometimes it's like, oh man, that's kind of fun, but then there's ones that like, holy crap, that like actually scared me. For me, it was The Changeling. I don't know if you guys, the original, not the one they use the name on like some recent. I'm talking about the one with the boy in the well and
George C. Scott.
Yeah, he throws the ball in the river and then
he throws
comes down the stairs wet and stuff.
Yeah.
That scared the
Look,
shit
I've
out of
always
me.
There
had
was this
problem.
movie
Horror movies have never really worked on me. As a matter of fact, I'm one of those people that when I go to those Halloween houses, haunted houses, everyone walks behind me. I'm the first person, you know, and
Totally.
everyone's like cowering behind me because I just don't have that. I'm just like
unfazed.
See, I use those opportunities.
So, but there
punch
is
somebody
this
and
movie.
have a reason.
When I was a little kid, it was I think it was called It or something like that.
It's a
These
good
people
one.
were out in a cold. They were like in the North Pole or the South Pole or something.
No,
it's
that's
this
the
alien
thing.
thing.
Oh, The
And I
Thing.
remember the one thing that scared me
The
was when this
Thing.
guy's that's it.
Kurt
This
Russell.
guy's head, it just turns into like this
John
spider
Carpenter,
thing.
man. That movie scares the shit
Okay,
out of me to this
the
day.
other one before that is the
Carpenter's number 3 for me.
It's an episode of Star Trek with these there was some kind of cave with these jelly things and they would land on your head and like take over your body. And that totally freaked me out when I was a little kid.
There
Totally
was
freaked
this
me out.
movie. I don't know the name of it.
The
It
Hoarder
was-
Creatures? Maybe the Hoarder Creatures.
I'm not-
But it was
I
some
haven't
kind
seen
of
that.
it was the old Star Trek, you know, the original Star Trek.
Yeah, right.
There was Donald Sutherland did a movie. And it was
Invasion of the
about-
Body Snatchers.
No, that one's great. That one's great, definitely. But it was before that. It was where his
All right. That's
where
Invasion.
his son drowns. He's in like Vienna.
Oh,
It's so good.
I know. It's called Don't Look Now. Highly recommend it.
It's really good. That one scared the shit out of me.
That's what the dwarf.
Yeah.
I'm there.
Yeah, it's really anything with the dwarf. Evil dwarf. every time.
Hey guys, I gotta zap out, but Zeus or Darcy, somebody send me the thing so I can post this right away.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was great.
Hey John,
say
good
we
to
wrap
meet you,
it
brother.
up.
Good to
Right
meet
now,
you
is that
too.
good?
Thanks a lot for
You know,
coming.
you know what we should do in all seriousness? Like
What's that?
do a part 2 of this after we've all read John's book.
Yeah, we need to read the book.
I'm not
I
reading
agree.
it.
I
don't read
agree.
it.
All right, John, we'll have you back.
to do it justice. Yeah.
Sounds great, guys.
Don't like women. Not reading
Don't
Okay,
like
so
women.
good girl.
All right,
it.
peace out, guys.
All right, take it easy.
Take care,
guys.
Jack.
All right, man.
Darcy, stay on for a
Yeah.
second.
Okay.
So you're gonna be. It should make sure that it's recording in some facet, and then
Yeah,
what
it's-
I'll do is I'll give you my my credentials for my Google Drive, so you can send. You can just
I'll
put
just upload it to it. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. John, this was great.
Hey,
I was
cool.
actually
Yeah.
expecting everybody.
Thanks a lot, John.
I was expecting
No
everybody
worries.
to bust your balls because of the toxic masculinity. Not that we're like He-Man women haters or anything, but
Right.
that's for me, like white guys in America. I was talking to Darcy about this earlier. We're not real popular right now, and so when I hear something like that, I'm like,
I needed to
"Fuck."
do Zeus a little schooling too, because I'm you know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. So
Wasn't
I was like,
Darcy, but yeah.
so I was like, Jesus, am I gonna regret this? And this was really great,
Cool.
really great. This might be one of my favorite episodes.
Right
And
on.
first of all, we didn't talk over each other nearly as much.
No, and nobody got mad. Like I thought you guys were
Fuck
going
you.
to virtual blows the other night. Holy crap.
Fucking Hawaiians.
So what time is it out where you are? Like 3 in the
It's
afternoon?
quarter after 5.
Quarter after, okay.
Time for me to make the kids dinner.
See, he's even got sunlight and we don't.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere, man. 5 o'clock
Right.
We
somewhere.
go eat out on the porch. Just rub it in your face.
John,
Well, nice.
I would very much like to have you on again. We definitely got to talk mental health. How do you like your conspiracy theories? Because we're gonna have that one.
You know, I used to love them. It's been kind of rough with how out of proportion they've become. But yeah,
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 didn't they
I'm-
come
I'm-
out with a whole bunch of new ones just recently?
Oh, I'm sure they keep
Well, Flat
recycling
Earth
the old ones.
is
They're
Flat Earth
taking
has
it. They're
gotten
taking
wheels
pages
lately.
out of the book for
Yeah, I'm
even
still stuck. Yeah, I'm still stuck on flat Earth, 5G. That's
5G.
you know, like man,
Stupid.
I was like on a mini crusade to explain how what they think.
5G
Yeah,
is a weapon.
it's not even possible yet. I mean, I was like maybe 100 years from now, sure, but for right now, Mr. Gates can't do much to you, or at least not without you knowing it anyway. So
Yeah, he
you
put
know.
nanobites into COVID-19. That's why I can
Right.
read minds now.
Actually, the
Stop
cell phone
thinking that.
towers are death rays. They just have to reverse the polarity.
Right.
The
There's an-
only thing I believe in that's conspiratorial is aliens. And I think what they do is when they fly by Earth, they roll up their windows.
Absolutely, it's a bad neighborhood.
And they don't leave it there because they'll come back and it'll be up on cinder blocks, their spaceship.
There-
Yeah.
I
They
will
just keep
say
moving.
without a doubt, there has never been any aliens here. There's no way.
I
It's just
married one.
stars are way too far apart. I don't know if I've said this before, but you shrink a star down to the size of a grain of sand, you put it on the ground, you drive in a straight line for 80 miles, put down another grain of sand. That's the average distance to scale of how far stars are apart. It's just highly unlikely.
People who are really bad at math tend to believe in aliens, at least alien visitation. People who are good at math tend to think that aliens could exist, but we're so far apart that even signals can't reach us.
I think it's ludicrous to think that we're the
100
only.
Given
I mean, we can see things that are 2,000 light years away. You can see that with your naked eye.
Yeah.
That means 2,000 years.
Well,
No.
given our current technology, I would agree that it is impossible.
Right.
I just, how did we get to this? Let's save this for because this can be fun.
I'm gonna go get in my aluminum blanket and
And
have a
Jack-
good night's sleep, guys.
Have
Make
you
sure you
noticed
put the hat on
that
tight.
Jack is
And
an
on
old
my head
codger?
too. And on my head.
Have you noticed that Jack's an old codger? If we start talking about something that he wanted to talk about, he's gonna have us get off his lawn. So we should probably stop it here. Plus, let's talk about how stupid Jack looks, because he's got to look at this later. Did you notice how stupid he looks? All right, guys, I'm out of here. I gotta get.
All right.
Wow.
I'm gonna get yelled
So
at.
all I have to do is click stop.
Such a great show. Really, thanks for coming on, John. We're gonna put it out there. Please, if you like what we did, start throwing it on your Facebook. Tell people to promote us.
Thanks.
All right.
All
Take
right.
care,
Great
guys.
time. Thanks so much. All right, I'll talk to you soon.
You bet.
All right.
See you, Mikey.
Bye.